Hi there, my name is Steve Gearhart and this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching today's video, which is going to be about Tetsu 100%. So before I do this short musical review of Tetsu 100%, I'm going to talk to you about a little thing called OnCon. About a year ago, March, we started this thing called OnCon. Actually, I say we, I wasn't actually part of it. I was a con-goer, shall we say. Now I'm part of it. But at the time, it was started by Brent Newhall and his friends over at Geek Archaeology. We all had a good time online. It was something to do for COVID. Since COVID's still a thing, so is OnCon. And we're at OnCon number 3. And I'm going to have a panel there called The Music of Cowboy Bebop, which kind of led to today's video because Tetsu 100% kept coming up over and over again in my research. So I'm going to talk about them in a moment. So, but you really need to show up to OnCon number 3, and that is because it's going to be on March 19th and 20th. We're going to have some opening ceremonies Friday evening and then go through the whole day with panels, anime from the 1990s, AMVs, cookies for charity, auction for charity where you can get cool stuff, and see a whole bunch of cool panels like mine about the music of Cowboy Bebop or other things. And actually, if you would like, we actually have some slots open, so if you would like to try and submit a panel, please do. All you have to do any of that, just to show up, is to go down to the link below, follow the links to OnCon 3, and just sign up at Eventbrite. It's free. Or you can just show up for the live stream on those dates. It's the Geek Archaeology live stream. Sorry for the ambient noise there. Apparently someone's doing donuts in the parking lot here. Anyway, so sign up for OnCon 3. Stop by. We got the chat function going on, and talk to us, throw your 2 cents in, ask us questions, just have fun. Okay, so now let's talk about Tetsu 100%. As I mentioned, Tetsu 100% kept coming up over and over and over again in my research for the music of Cowboy Bebop. And there's a reason, because it is connected to the music of Cowboy Bebop. I'll explain that in a moment. So Tetsu 100% is a Japanese jazz band with a kind of top 40 Japanese pop twist to it. So if you are familiar with 80s music in general, it kind of falls in that genre a little bit. The band existed between 1980 and 1989. There was a solid cast of members. They didn't change up. The lineup didn't change that often. It did change a couple times. They did 3 albums. They threw out a couple singles, but there's really actually not that much information about the band members themselves or the band itself, other than Tetsu means iron, so it's in English translation that would be 100% iron, so that kind of sounds cool, I guess. But there's one particular person in the band who is now very famous. But anyway, so in the 80s, this band was kind of doing its thing and making music, and they were primarily jazz, like I said, but they took elements of Japanese pop, J-pop, and threw it in there as well. Now, during the 80s, kind of like an Americana 80s music, there was a time where a lot of artists would do big band standards as part of their albums, and quite often they did that so that they could get on the charts or recognized, because more often than not, that's how people got popular for those types of bands. One of the songs that comes to mind is by a guy named Taco. Yes, that was his name. And he did his interpretation of Putting on the Ritz, which was #1 for a while. I think that was in 1983 or 84, something like that. But if you listen to that song, that kind of gives you an idea of how in America it was kind of like pop music with a jazz infusion. Tetsu 100% was kind of the flip of that. It was jazz music with a pop infusion into it. One of the things that I should mention to those of you who are not familiar with Japanese vocalists, it's a different language, it's a different cadence, and so there is an attempt to mimic Western styles with the Japanese language, and it doesn't always work to the untrained ear. So if you're not used to J-pop, this might be a little bit jarring for you. The guy's vocals, the lead singer's vocal is definitely Lounge Lizard, and that's what he's going for. And to me, it sounds okay because I'm used to J-pop music, and so I'm used to that kind of cadence. But for some people, it doesn't really work. So just to warn you there. But the rest of the music, the instrumentals are pretty good if dated. It is definitely 1980. You can even if you didn't know this was Japanese and you didn't hear the vocals, you would hear this music and go, I think this might be the mid 80s, and you would be correct. So this little band, Tetsu 100%, is important and is connected to the music of Cowboy Bebop because in 1986 they got a new keyboardist, and that keyboardist was Yokochano. So Yokochano is kind of responsible for Tetsu's 100%'s limited success in the jazz pop arena of Japan's music, top 40 music. The reason why this is important is because this is her first professional musical outing. She had done contests. She was in college at the University of Waseda, and this was the first time that she actually did this for a living. As a student, she periodically did scores for video games like Koei's Romance of the Third Kingdom, I think it's called, and a couple other games like that. But this is the first time that she actually got into a jazz band and started making music and started making albums, like real albums, and getting out there and getting her own name out there. She wrote most of the 3 albums. She wrote, not the lyrics, but the instrumentals. She did most of the arrangements, and so but the thing is that it is so early on in her career that if I were to play it right now, you would, and I didn't tell you that Yokochano was a part of this band, you wouldn't be able to figure it out. You would never know if nobody told you. So one of the interesting things about the Tetsu 100% music is that there periodically you can hear a song and you go, that might make a good anime intro or outro song. And there's a small handful of slivers of music, of bars lasting no more than 5 seconds, where you'll just listen to it and you'll be like, wait a minute, that sounded like Cowboy Bebop. That sounded a little bit like Tank. Wait a minute, that sounded a little bit like... But they're very short and they're very concise, and they come and they go very, very quickly. So again, it's not like that's enough information to give you that it's Yokochano, but you can draw some connections there. So am I telling you to go out and buy these albums? No. Like I said, for those who are not used to Japanese vocals, the vocals for this particular band are jarring. While I'm okay with it, there's a Lounge Lizard aspect to this that I'm not comfortable with. It's not that the guy's a bad singer. I think he is a good singer. His later work outside of Tetsu 100% is actually pretty decent. But he was in a phase of hey, how you doing, folks? Yeah. And it really falls flat. The instrumental music part of it is good, but it is very, very dated. So I would not pay pay money for this music, which is kind of sad to say, because in 2014 their first album was actually re-released by Yokochano for sale. So what do? Well, tell you what, if you really want to know and make up your own mind about it, I'll provide you a Spotify link down below. You can get Spotify for free. You just have to deal with some ads. But I'll give you a link, and you can sample their music and come to your own determination. Again, Tetsu 100% is not bad. It's not horrible. It's meh. But it's very interesting to see Yokochano at the beginning of her professional career in music. So if for no other reason to check this stuff out, check it out for that. Okay? So that's it for this review. Alright, so again, thank you so much for stopping by and watching this. If you liked this video, hit the like button. If you like what I do, please subscribe. I would love it if you subscribed. If we get to, let's see here, 200 people, 200 subscribers, then we're going to have digital sushi for everyone. And who doesn't want digital sushi? It's really good stuff. Anyway, So, like it, subscribe, hit the bell so that you can get notifications. And again, as always, please join us over at Geek Archaeology around 8 o'clock on Saturday nights as we do our weekly dig. This week, I believe we're doing Jinro is the anime we're going to be discussing. And then going on to the regular news and us discussing that and me bemoaning the fact that I have no money invested in the Mugen Train venture. I could be a millionaire by now. It's doing so well. Anyway, you guys are great. Remember, COVID-19 is still a thing. If you can get your vaccine, get the vaccine. But still, wear your mask, social distance, because I want to meet you guys someday in person while on Con 3 is great, and I hope to see you guys there. Seeing you in person would be even more wonderful, and wouldn't that be awesome? So please take care of yourselves. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.